Title is Spoiled. I know Nutwit has a point. I become a creature of habit, spoiled after a stretch of being my own dog. For a long time, I was Bob the Beast, cunning and streetwise. As a stray, I lived off leftovers at the mall, while Snickers dined on her fancy pants kibble. Man, how I loved that cotton candy stuck to the floor. The unexpected UFOs. The ends of ketchup-covered hot dogs scattered under the bleachers like, I don't know, big toes or something. Ivan offered to share his gorilla food with me, and Stella and Ruby were always ready to pass along their carrot or an apple. But I refused. I needed to stay in shape, stay tough, stay true to my wild nature. Okay, so maybe every now and then I'd sneak a banana chunk off from Ivan's breakfast. But then things changed. I become civilized, domesticated, a pet. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely some perks. Julia, who's an artist, painted my name on a food bowl. She gave me this wonderfully mushy blanket, the kind where you can bed boogie forever till it's squished to perfection. And you can curl up just so. I love that blanket. But I simply cannot sleep without Not Tag, Ivan's raggedy old toy gorilla. Of course, just when I get my blanket and Not Tag imprinted with the right amount of you to Bob, Julia's mom does the unthinkable. Puts them in the washing machine and removes every last bit of me. There are other indignities I tolerate. The daily walk of tug-of-war string after going stringless for my whole life. The attempts to train me, like that'll ever happen. The kisses, the cuddling. Well, the cuddling's okay, I suppose. But the kissing, I just don't get. If you want to kiss your dog, why not just give him a big old lick on the face and be done with it? Anyways, so what if I've gotten a little spoiled? A tad soft around the edges. There's a difference between being soft and being afraid. Being a coward. Title, Another Confession. Too bad I know the truth. I'm both. Title, Cricket Bully. When Julia returns from walking her charges, I race over and give her a good old Bob-style hello. Lots of yipping and twirling, followed by some attempts to jump into her arms. Humans love that stuff. Julia looks at me sternly and says, "Robert, down." I leap some more because I'm determined to convince her I'm incorrigible, untrainable. It's part of my charm, my bobbliness. "Down," she says again. From her coat pocket, she pulls out a little metal clicker, along with some treats. I hate that clicker. It's meant to help train me, but it's like a cricket bully. Here's the theory. I do something right, Julia clicks, gives me a treat. The clicks tell me when I'm behaving, and the treats reinforce it. If that happens enough before your very eyes, I'm supposed to transform into a good dog. Well, I ain't that easy. "Down, Bob," Julia tries again. I want a treat, but not enough to cave, so I opt for a play bow, a compromise. Julia sighs. "You're definitely a challenging student." To my annoyance, she puts the treats back in her pocket. I think Julia may be on to me. Title, Trust. A while ago, Julia got it into her head that I needed to improve my manners. We went to a dog training class. I wasn't really into the whole sit and stay and do the tango stuff. The worst command of all, the truly inexcusable, only a human could come up with it order, leave it. Leave it means walk on by, Bob. Sure, there's a piece of bacon just inches from your drooling pie hole, but do me a favor and just pretend it's not there, okay? Not okay. Where I'm come from, you never pass up a free meal. UFO drops to the carpet, it's mine. And I'll be chowing it down before you can say, "Where the heck is my meatball?" Within minutes, I was accused of being an undermotivated student, which is totally unfair. I'm highly motivated. Just show me some cheese, please. Anyways, I may or may not have been a little unruly. Class clown stuff, tail spinning, a little random peeing, some zoomies, just for show. "Class, you see that crazy dashing around he's doing?" said the teacher, pointing at me with an accusing finger. "We call that a frat. Frantic random activity, period." She pulled Julia aside. "He's a smart dog," she said, "but he's messing with you." which was true, but I hated getting caught in the act. I thought I was more subtle. Bob needs to know who's the boss, said the teacher. He needs to see you as pack leader. Give him some time. I see this a lot with former strays. Takes them a while to trust people. Like forever in my case. As we left the class early, I yelled, "So long, suckers," to my classmates. Couldn't help rubbing it in a little. Title, My Car Thing. I suppose the real reason for the training stuff isn't my bad manners, although they leave a bit to be desired. It's my car thing. I've always had a hang-up about cars and trucks, also riding lawnmowers, go-karts, anything with 4 wheels, an engine, and a driver. Don't like them. Don't want to ride in them. Don't want anything to do with them. Those co-pilot dogs with their heads hanging out of the window, flying their drool flags, boneheads. First of all, it ain't safe. Second of all, bad stuff can happen to you after you climb into a car. Take it from me. When Julia and George and Sarah realized I have transportation issues, they tried to lure me into the back seat, to the back of their car with treats. But you'd be surprised how stubborn I can be. I yelped so loud the neighbors came running outside to see what was happening to the poor little doggy. Score 1 for the poor little doggy. Title, Click. That's when they started the clicker thing, clicker training me. Click, here's a treat. Come closer to the car, Bob. Click, here's a treat. Watch while I open the door, Bob. Click, here's a treat. Come right up to the seat, Bob. Click, here's a treat. Come on in, Bob. Bob? Bob? Where are you, Bob? Yeah, it was like that a lot. Title, Options. Still haven't been in a car or a truck or a tractor for that matter. When I have to go to rhymes with pet threat, Julia and her parents walk me there. They say elephants have long memories. Well, so do dogs, people. It's not like I'm afraid. I'm just exercising my options. Title, Full Wag. Are you ready to head over to the park? George asks as we pass through the living room. He's carrying 2 flashlights and a roll of masking tape. Yep, Julia says. And I do a head tilt to show that I'm intrigued by the conversation. The place where Ivan and Ruby live is called the Wild World Zoological Park and Sanctuary, but everybody just calls it the park. George works at the park as the head groundskeeper, which means I've got some sway, and everyone who's employed there loves Julia. Give me a minute, I just need to grab my coat, says George. Straight home after that, though, Julia, says Sarah. Just in case the weather gets worse. 1 minute, the weatherman's saying we're going to have a little shower. The next minute, it's a storm of the century. Julia scratches my head. I thought Hurricane Gus wasn't coming till tomorrow. Sometimes they change course, says Sarah. They can be unpredictable. You know, George says with a wink, in the old days, they only named hurricanes after women. Julia groans. That's so sexist. It's not just the wind that I'm worried about on this one, says George. It's the storm surge that could be the problem. Flooding. Julia tries to make me wear her mom's latest creation, a knitted dog sweater with security written on it, which I suppose is an ironic reference to my petite size. I politely decline. All right, you win, Julia sighs. Ready for your walk, Bob? At the mention of the word walk, I go all crazy mutt, so it's clear that I'm on board with the idea. Humans love it when we get silly. I think they're so weighed down by people problems that sometimes they need to be reminded what happy looks like. Julia attaches my string. I try for a little tug of war, but she refuses to buy it. Let's go see Ivan and Ruby, she says. Just hearing those names sends my tail into full wag. Title, Good Words, Bad Words. I've never met a dog who didn't get a big old grin on his kisser when walk slipped into the conversation. Dogs understand more than you might think. The Nature Channel says we're about as smart as the average human toddler, 2 years old. My fuzzy rump, we're a million times brainier than some babbling rugrat. There was a dog on that man's best friend show who supposedly understood like 1,000 human words. Border Collie, I think. Those guys need to switch to decaf. The narrator was gushing about his wonder dog, and I'm like, well, duh, Brainiac, of course we understand people. Not everything, mind you, and some of us are more attentive than others. Depends a lot on how interesting your humans happen to be. Certain words will really cause our ears to perk up. The classics: treat, walk, frisbee, bacon. And don't forget swear words: vet, bath, fireworks, vacuum cleaner. We always hear those.